Sometimes I look back at it and think, it's a good job this didn't happen to me.
With competition, though, Paul, I think there was two ways it went. I think the bigger organisation struggled because naturally, like you know, in your sense, how many employees have you got? How many people can you have in your office?
Yeah.
So if you know, a lot of bigger businesses couldn't hire because they feasibly couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I think the bigger organisations struggled because they weren't as lean sometimes in our client base. But then some of our competitors that were smaller shut up shop and just thought, do you know what? I've got a few staff, furlough. Probably did negotiated on the rent and different fees. I can survive it. Shut up shop, didn't do anything for 3 or 4 months. And they're the ones that I believe, well, there's a couple now that I'm aware of aren't here anymore. Because you can't do that. You know, if you're, I know it's a tough time, but you've got to carry on. You've got to find the ways. You've got to find the opportunities. So I think competition went one or two ways in that sense. And
I agree. I think it's interesting though. I'd hate to be part of a large organisation in the current times, but equally, you just touched on it before. You two had run separate. You obviously got different businesses, but you've run quite lean ships, and you have had you had plenty of wool on your back.
Yeah,
I think, and sometimes I look back at it and think, it's a good job this didn't happen to me 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Because
I've said the same.
I was a business that didn't really run, even though we're an accountancy firm. We run quite risky, even to a degree, to get the level of growth that we got. So I never operated with huge amounts of wool on my back until I was probably 8 years old, and so we was okay to ride this one out. But we would have struggled from year 1 to 7, and I think some of them are in that position where they just didn't get to the point to get enough wool on the back to ride it out. But I think one of the things everybody learns from a recession, and I learned from the 2008 recession, was you've got to have that sort of financial infrastructure from a monetary perspective. And you two had that. So it gave you that breathing space as well, I think.
Yeah, there was no panic. Certainly myself and with my business partner, his role's more operational, mine's more sales. So I kind of see what our clients are doing. At no point did I ever think, oh shit, we're going to go out of business or we're going to run out of cash. It wasn't about that, but it was about being in as good a state as possible, as you were saying, for when things start to improve, which in our sector, slowly but surely from May onwards, our vacancy numbers crept up. And November last month, our sales are the best they've been all year. And Jan and Feb were pre-COVID months, and they were good months. So the context of that is really great. So it was about getting the business to a stronger position as possible to then be able to kind of recoup, I guess, some of the sales that we'd lost. But at no point did I panic. But like you said, being totally transparent, if this was 3 years ago, it would have been a very different situation financially.
It's an easy metric of what I looked at it, and it was vacancies. I forgot about everything else and how many vacancies, how many jobs we've got to fill, and it went from probably 100 plus to probably less than 5.
Right.
In our market, because people didn't want to hire graduates. So, in terms of adapting, we had to adapt. If we were what we were doing in March 13th or whatever day it was, 14th, we won't be in business. We'd be in business because we had the cash to survive, but we'd just be churning it. Whereas actually now we've got more cash in the bank than we had pre-COVID. And that's because we did adapt, we did different things, but we maintained our core vision, as well as adding different divisions in, which meant that we've got through this and now we'll come out of it with more divisions, more revenue streams than we ever had before. My biggest thing, and I know we'll move on to it, is I'm kind of kicking myself to thinking, why didn't I do that sooner? Why is it taking a pandemic to go into America or do, why is it done that? But I suppose hindsight's a wonderful thing.